I should keep mine not very loud.
Is that gun on that guy's side right there?
Right.
They actually showed that gun at in their tech demo. They showed like a gun rack, and that gun was on there. It looks like I want to say like a sawn-off Winchester repeater or something like that.
Really. I noticed that earlier, and I was wondering what the significance to that gun was, because nobody else has one like that.
Right.
I've been seeing people saying that the burned man is either Gene uh, or
Or some people were saying it's Volgan, but there's no way. The Volgan was a huge guy. He was really tall.
no, not Volgan, Valdez.
Huh? Really?
Yeah, but I've been trying to keep an eye on his hand, his right hand. His right hand would be mechanical if it was
Right.
Valdez,
He
and
has a glove over it.
they, yeah, it's gloved, so you can't tell 100%, but still, it doesn't look like a mechanical hand.
And that right there in Chico's hand, that's a Sony Walkman. You said right, and it
Hmm.
was released when
I think
in the late '70s, or the
79,
okay.
78 or 79, and that's
This is
in the Metal Gear timeline. They mentioned it being released in the late 70s.
uh, yeah, this
I'm just
is
saying that's
1974 right here.
right.
And that part earlier where he says she didn't suffer long, I think that he's referring to Pause.
Chico and Paz weren't.
In one of the recordings, there's that gun again. In one of the recordings, there was a one of the tapes in Peace Walker. Chico mentions that he has a crush on Paz,
Okay.
and this is the same song
So
that was at the end of MGS4.
presumably, Chico and Paz were the hostages they were talking about,
Right?
and Big Boss is coming to rescue Chico and Paz. But supposedly, Paz is dead. I mean, that's what the Burn Man makes it sound like. Either he didn't torture her very long, or he killed her. One or the other.
Yeah.
You know, she didn't suffer long. I assume that means he kills her. And then here, this is Kaz talking to Big Boss.
Now, focus right here in just a sec. Yeah, there's the American flag. So this is an American camp.
Right. She's being held for interrogation. Okay. Right here. He says the upcoming inspection of Mother Base. I didn't see the rest of it because it's going too fast. The upcoming inspection of Mother Base by the UN. I'm thinking that's how these guys get in there to destroy it.
Right. Yeah, because there's no way
They
he'd
take
get
off the
past their
XOF
army.
logo. I mean, whatever the fuck XOF is, because we don't know at this point. But my guess is that's how they get into Mother Base, posing as the UN inspections.
Right. Yeah, that's the only plausible way, and I think that's he mentions
But yeah, if OF is a American group, or if they're part of the American government, because they seem to be on an American base right now in Cuba. Why would they have to disguise who they were? They're already expecting the UN inspection to happen. They're expecting the inspections people to come.
he mentions the Trojan horse is in, so that I
Right.
think he's talking about Chico because Chico betrayed them, and Big Boss is coming to get him back. Or
No,
they're
I think
talking about,
when he mentions Trojan horse, I think he's talking about himself. He's
yeah, they
talking about
must be
their
talking about the
helicopters
helicopters. Yeah, you're right.
because that's what a Trojan horse is. They're going to be coming in, and Mother Base is going to think they're someone else. They're going to be think that they're there for inspections, for a peaceful um, meeting, something along those lines. They're not expecting all-out war here. But if you watch, they're all taking their XOF badges off. Again, so they don't know who they're from. They don't know that they're from XOF. And you can see his right hand here. It moves pretty naturally. He taps his finger on his leg. I don't think that's
Yeah, I
don't think that's a mechanical
that's
hand.
not Galvez. No way.
Right, Galvez. What did I call him? Valdez?
Yeah.
Valdez. The first time I watched that trailer, I didn't notice them taking the badges off their uniforms.
And then all of these badges like fall on Snake as he's climbing, and he's like, "What the fuck?" Now this is brought up several times. Two phantoms were
Right.
born. I mean,
Two phantoms were born. Why do they use the term born? Unless they're talking about liquid and solid. They were the two clones that, as far as I know, had actual surrogate mothers. Do you know if Solidus was born naturally?
okay, wait a minute. No, they didn't really mention. Oh well, they were all born naturally, but they were cloned. But Miller just said you'll probably just miss our guests. And I
Right.
think what he's talking about the UN that's
right.
scheduled to go inspect.
Right. So you assume that, whoever these people are, they cut them off or killed them all, and then they showed up at Mother Base impersonating the UN inspections group.
Right.
That's why Mother Base doesn't assume anything is happening when these people show up. They're already expecting them to come. That's why I called them guests.
Another thing the fans were wondering about is David Hayter, because he said on Twitter earlier today that he wasn't even asked to come back as the voice. So there's going to be a new actor playing Snake or Big Boss.
So I can say that yes, it will be a new person. I can't say who just yet.
David, it was interesting. He said I wasn't even asked. Why did you not bring him back for this one?
What we're trying to accomplish here is recreate the Metal Gear series. It's a new type of Metal Gear game, and we wanted to have this reflected in the voice actor as well.
Yeah.
He just now that's obviously what's his name, Akio Otsuka or whatever his name is. He's basically David Hayter of Japan, and they're bringing him back to voice Snake. And Kojima has said, "We're not bringing back David Hayter."
Mm-hmm.
So that doesn't really make sense. Now, there's been
Well, based on his reason for not bringing David Hayter back, he says he's not bringing him back because he wants to do something different, reinvent the series. But if he's not doing the same thing with Japan, there's got to be some other reason for changing our voice actor and leaving theirs alone.
right, and that doesn't make sense because a lot of the theories going around are, okay, well, Solid Snake probably makes an appearance later in the game. Well, if that's the case, wouldn't they not bring the Japanese voice actor back to voice Big Boss as well? That it would have to be consistent there, but it's not.
Well, I don't know what they did in the Japanese version in MGS4. Like who voiced Big Boss at the end of MGS4 in Japan?
I think that was a big thing. That was Akio's father voiced Big Boss.
Mm-hmm.
So I think at the end of MGS4, where Big Boss makes an appearance in
So
the epilogue.
Akio's always voiced Snake, and
Yeah.
then in MGS4 they had his real life father voice the boss.
Yeah.
voice Big Boss.
I think it was either that he voiced him or he mocapped him. It was something like that, but I know they had a different voice actor.
Hmm.
But yeah,
Well, yeah, that's a tough call. Like I feel like we're so, solid. David Hayter basically embodies the character. Like
right.
his we're so used to his voice being used for Solid Snake, and even though he voiced Big Boss in every game that he's been in up to this point, the choice at the end of MGS4 was to have David Hayter voice Solid Snake, and the other guy, whatever his name is,
Richard
uh,
Doyle.
Richard Doyle, he voiced Big Boss.
Right.
So the easy transition after MGS4 is to have someone else, Richard Doyle or whoever. Who did you say was the other guy that you were wanting to come back and voice Big Boss?
Oh, John Seigan. He's the guy that voiced Solidus Snake in MGS2, and and Solidus was the perfect clone. He was, you
Mm.
remember in MGS4 that was the
Yeah,
reason Ocelot was able to take control of the system is because they used Solidus's genes or his DNA
right.
to get through the system. And if
Well,
that's
look, I mean, from my point of view as a fan, and I mean as an avid fan of the Metal Gear Solid series, if I had to choose between who David Hayter was going to play, I'd want him to play Solid Snake. I'm a little more okay with somebody else taking over for Big Boss, simply because David Hayter has voiced Snake since the beginning for me.
yeah,
And the last game he voiced the character in was MGS4, and he voiced Solid Snake. So Richard Doyle voices Big Boss. So it seems like more of a natural transition to have him or someone else come back and voice Big Boss if Solid Snake is going to be in this game. If
yeah,
Solid Snake, if not, I mean, if Solid Snake ends up being in this game, David Hayter has to voice him. Period. He has to.
yeah,
There's no way that they could bring him back, have him voice Big Boss, and let's just say that, like MGS2, Big Boss's part of this game isn't that big. Maybe he has 10-20% of the game, and the rest of it is Solid Snake. Who would you prefer for David Hayter to do the voice acting for?
well, right, of course, Solid Snake. But in that interview we just watched,
I know.
Kojima claims that we're only going to be playing as one character as Big Boss, and he says I cannot reveal who the voice actor for Big Boss is going to be.
Right.
Like that's some big secret. I mean, what does it matter? So long as the guy kind of sounds like him, what does it
Right.
matter?
Yeah, it wouldn't. I mean, even with the argument that I'm making on the case, I don't think it would matter who voices Big Boss as long as it's not David Hayter.
Right. But he's kind of keeping it a secret for whatever reason.
Yeah, I'm still, I'm. I think I'm more hopeful than convinced, but my theory is that Solid Snake is in the game, plays a big role, and that's why he's David Hayter is not voicing Big Boss.
Right. Oh,
If there
hopefully
if,
that's
if there
right.
was if there was a falling out between Hayter and Kojima, we would all know about it. I mean, the way that Hayter is talking about this whole thing over his Twitter accounts is not like, I can't believe I wasn't asked to be in the game, like blah blah blah. This happened between us, and he's being so petty.
Yeah.
He's not acting like there's anything, any big reason why he wasn't in the game. I mean, and if that's the case, then he would know why he wasn't asked. He kind of is acting like he's a little surprised, more so than he knows something went on between them, and that's why he's not being asked to voice the character.
The Kojima knows that his fans are gonna rip him a new one for not bringing Hater back if he's really not bringing him
Right.
back.
Right. Like it would be so controversial for Hater not to be in the game. However, if it was just some big fucking secret and some big reveal that Solid Snake is in the game, he has no choice but to keep it a secret. Otherwise, he ruins the secret of the game, and he has no choice but to, come up with some reason for why he's changed the voice actor. You can't give a. I don't care how much people complain about the voice actor or why he made the choice to change voice actors. I don't care how much people complain. I would rather people complain about that and have it be kept a secret than for him to come out and say, "All right, well, Solid Snake is in the game, so there you go, you ruined it."
Yeah, they're not gonna do that.
He has to keep it a secret. He has no choice.
Yeah. Well, we're just not gonna find out until the
I
game
mean,
is
there
released.
were a lot of things in the trailers for MGS4 that you know uh, did the same thing. They caused a lot of questions to be asked and a lot of theories to be uh, discussed. And the
Yeah.
same thing is happening with this game, and that's just how he operates. But the point is, you can't reveal everything, every major plot point about your game before it comes out, especially in the case of something as big as playing as Solid Snake, or playing as Solid Snake fighting against Big Boss in this game. Like, who would really want a surprise like that to be ruined? I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, but I don't know. There's just been so many weird things that have happened since they came out with the first Ground Zeroes trailer. To me, it's really pointing in that direction.
Yeah.
It's wishful thinking on my part, but I don't know. I think an argument can be made for his appearance in the game, Salt Snake's appearance in the game.
Yeah. I'm hoping so, but they would have to jump forward in time quite a bit for Solid Snake to be in the game and have.
Well, they're gonna jump forward 9 fucking years.
Yeah. Right.
What's another 9 years?
Yeah.
All right. So, going back to the burned man, the general consensus is that he's one of few people, because I guess people can't assume that he's a new character that we don't know of.
Yeah.
Although I'm not saying that he has to be a new character, and I'm not saying he can't be an old character, but people like to think that every main character is someone that we've met before.
Yeah. I
I
really
don't think he's
disagree.
Galvez.
I
I don't,
disagree with that he's Gene because there has been no real connection between any of Kojima's iterations past Portable Ops that has referred back to Portable Ops. 'Cause
mm,
if you remember, Portable Ops was not directed by Kojima. He didn't write the story for that. That was almost like a spin-off with the Metal Gear Solid name.
right,
But I don't know. I don't know if I guess technically it's in the main canon, but it has not really been referred back to. None of the characters, except of course Null Gray Fox, was introduced in that. It-
right.
okay, Snake is back on Fox. That
In parentheses.
yeah, that either means the Fox engine or Fox
Right,
um, the unit.
right.
Okay, now notice here. And this is obviously the prologue to the Phantom Pain. They didn't really announce whether it's going to be a simultaneous release, part of the same
Right.
package, same disc.
So when are they going to, like, you're going to buy Metal Gear Solid 5 and you'll get this all together, or how does it how do you experience it?
So we can't comment just yet on how these things will be distributed and sold, but what we can say is that Phantom Pain and Ground Zeroes will be two parts of a whole, and Ground Zeroes will come first. It'll kind of be Phantom Pain on a smaller scale, so it'll be open world, but not quite as big as Phantom Pain. So it'll allow the user to jump in, learn how to sneak, in real time in that world, that open world.
Hmm.
Now, there we see that thing
The
on the
same
screen again.
effect that you saw when they got into the helicopter.
Yeah, Chico and Paz are being held. Yeah, they're both being held in the compound. And what the hell?
Right.
That is way too advanced for 1974.
Yeah, way too advanced.
Anyway, check this out.
Metal Gear itself is too advanced.
Oh yeah, that's true. Uh, Notice how Snake has his assault rifle slung to his side. This has never been the case while in gameplay in any other MGS game, except as we see in this trailer. I don't know if they're going to change that or what, but that kind of um, brings something up about. Yeah, see, he just put the, the binoculars on his back.
Uh,
So all his equipment you can physically see on his person.
right.
And so I wonder if they're gonna take out the infinite pockets from previous games, which could
Well,
change up
they
gameplay
took
a
it
little.
out. They took it out in Peace Walker.
Yeah,
You had to outfit yourself with whatever you were gonna bring in. So I mean, if this is supposed to be an open world game where he can jump in the helicopter, take off, go back to whatever his base is, and then gear up for another mission, you can assume that he's only able to bring whatever you equip him with. He's not going to have an infinite inventory.
yeah, that's a big
Did you
change.
see the did you see the extended version of this trailer?
Yeah, where he gets in a jeep and
Yeah, it shows him pulling out some flash grenades or something, and it seems like
smoke
it
grenade.
has a smoke grenade. Was it? It looks like it's a HUDless inventory. If that's
Yeah,
the case, he wouldn't be able to carry that many items anyway, because it would be too hard to queue them all up.
right.
Maybe 4 items or 8 items if you're holding down a button and pressing a direction or something to pull one up. I don't know how they're going to do it, but a HUDless inventory would kind of necessitate bringing less items.
Yeah. So they're definitely changing up the gameplay, if that's any indication.
Yeah.
At least the way that you utilize your equipment, because you can't, like in MGS 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, take in 10 different machine guns at once.
Yeah.
and and in the cutscenes, like in MGS4, when Snake had to protect Rex, he just magically pulls out the railgun out of nowhere. That's always been like the sillier parts of the game, but I guess it's just a part of it. Okay, so the next one we'll watch is the uh, the Phantom Pain trailer, the Metal Gear Solid 5,
All right.
the one with that garbage theme song.
I wouldn't say garbage. It's pretty good. Sarcasm.
Snake's got a horn out of his head or something.
He actually has some debris embedded into his skull, debris and bone as well.
All right here. As soon as it shows his face, as soon as you can see his forehead,
Okay. It'll be at around 29 seconds, I think. I don't know, never mind. We're past that.
I like
It's
how
around a
the
minute, I think.
person watching them has zoom vision. Everything's a lie. I mean, you have to assume that the song is chosen for a reason. Maybe, obviously, not all of the lyrics are going to be telling, but
Oh, is it right here?
some of them have to be. Yeah, look at his forehead.
There is nothing on his
Nothing
forehead.
there.
That huge horn that
Right.
is on the end.
No bone, no
It's just
shrapnel
fragments.
fragment. It's just bloody. His forehead is fine. It's just bloody. So we can only assume that he ended up in this hospital after Mother Base was destroyed.
Right.
I mean, with the information we have now, he has to have been here. He has to have come here after Mother Base was attacked. And from this point forward, he goes into a coma, and he's in a coma for 9 years. Where does the horn come from? It wasn't there already. It wasn't shrapnel because the shrapnel's not there now.
Oh, I guess the only thing that you can think that it could possibly be is maybe while he was in a coma, sometime in that 9 years, the hospital was attacked or somebody tried to kill him.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe they tried to jam a big piece of metal in his forehead.
Right. I mean, it we'll get to it later, but it definitely looks like bone. I mean, what kind of a piece of shrapnel isn't sharp or jagged or serrated? Or if it was a knife, someone tried to like brain him while he was in a coma and
Yeah.
broke a knife off in his skull. I mean, come on. He would, for one, he wouldn't survive that, and for two, it wouldn't look like that. It actually, as stupid as it sounds, it does look like bone. It doesn't make any fucking sense for there to be a horn growing out of his head, but it looks like bone.
Yeah.
Anyway, the point is, right here, when he gets admitted to this hospital, when he gets brought to the hospital, there's nothing on his forehead. No bone, no shrapnel.
Yep.
If we're
Nothing.
to assume some stupid long shot idea, no offense because it was your idea, but some stupid long shot idea that the hospital is attacked and he gets some shrapnel in his head while he's in a coma, that's like the only explanation.
Right. Well, I mean, think about it. Why at the opening of the Phantom Pain, the hospital is getting attacked. Why would they wait until he wakes up to attack it?
Right.
Oh, he
Anyway,
woke up.
well,
Let's go attack it. It's going to be a little more difficult because he can crawl around and possibly get away. But
they didn't know that he woke up. They just happened to attack at the same point at the same
just a
time.
coincidence.
Coincidentally.
In 9 years.
Yeah.
All right. This is in planning for 9 years.
Yeah.
We're going to go attack this. It should be so easy because he's just asleep. He's in a coma. Oh, he's awake.
Right. So, okay. Um I think that
Oh, and Miller's still wearing his sunglasses, of course.
right, he's still wearing his sunglasses. like his sunglasses never get knocked off in the middle of a fight, you know? Like what are they glued to his head?
Probably.
Does he have like the Morpheus sunglasses that are like stuck to his face? I mean, how the hell?
Yeah, even if that was like a point in Metal Gear Solid 1, like when Liquid takes off the sunglasses, he says, "Did you like my sunglasses?" I guess that's Miller's thing. He wears his sunglasses.
Snake should have like, no, I didn't like your sunglasses because I can't fucking see them when I'm talking on a codec, you stupid idiot. Can't see your face. Your face is for the player.
Yep.
Did you like my sunglasses? Anyway, there's nothing on his forehead. You can clearly see there is one strand of hair that goes over that sort of area where I'm just going to call it a horn from now on. I'm just going to call it a horn. There's a strand of hair in that area, and it looks like he might have a little bit of a scrape there. There's some blood, but there's nothing. There's no giant horn jutting out of his forehead. That's clear.
Right.
And then, Kaz says, and, with Kojima's trailers, you just kind of have to assume that everything that happens for a reason, or the things people say, they say for a reason. That they mention that he's okay, he's stable, but he's in a coma. And Kaz says, what about him?
Yeah, I was thinking that.
I mean, the way that he sounds it, I'm sorry, the way he says it, this is just my opinion, but the way he says it, it almost sounds like he doesn't know who the guy is. Like, what about that guy,
Yeah.
Not what about my friend over here? Not that he would say my friend, but just the way that he says it, it sounds like he doesn't know who the hell the guy is.
Well, maybe
Almost
he
as
doesn't
if
know his name, but he has to be somebody from Mother Base, somebody from.
not necessarily. He could be someone who was already there. I mean, if it's this Ishmael guy, he could simply have already been there when Snake got there, or when Big Boss got there.
Yeah, that's true. So yeah, and that's a whole nother thing with Ishmael.
Right.
I think
We'll
yeah, we'll get to that later when we watch that that one. But
what about him?
yeah.
It almost seems like A, he doesn't know who he is, or B, he could have been one of the enemies. Even here, you can see his forehead. He's bloody.
Yeah, he's still bloody. This has to be when he's going back
clearly
to Mother Base, I think. I would think, because unless his helicopter
we're
was
assuming
attacked.
we're assuming whatever happens to him happens after the attack on Mother Base.
Right. Yeah, I think the
Because
reason.
here,
the whole reason-
here you can
Yeah,
you can
he's
see his
not bloody.
forehead. He's going to Mother Base, and he's not bloody.
Yeah, he's not bloody there yet either.
Not bloody there either.
Okay, so he must be leaving Mother Base, and I don't know. They send a couple guys after
Something like that.
his helicopter. Maybe their helicopter goes down.
Maybe Chris Redfield shows up with a rocket launcher and
Double crisscross rocket launchers.
Yeah, double crisscross the rocket launcher with Jill Valentine. And Snake's helicopter goes down into a volcano.
There's a bunch of Viagra floating around. And we see the pedals there. And there's Ishmael and Snake trying to get up.
Okay, so we have a character whose face is completely bandaged up. Can't see his face. Why?
You mentioned something about that before. I think the reason for that is because he doesn't want Snake to know who he is.
Right. It's one. I mean, it could be a number of things, but
Or he's Decoy Octopus.
Yeah.
I'm still sticking with that. I think it's either Gray Fox or Decoy Octopus.
Look, there's only so many reasons why you bandage someone's face. One, they need it. They've
Get ready to
actually
pause
been
it.
injured.
Yeah.
They've
Pause it
actually
right
been
here.
injured. Okay. One, they've actually been injured. They've been injured. Something happened to his face, so he needs the bandages. Two, he doesn't need the bandages, but he needs to protect his identity. And if it's number two, if he needs to protect his identity, what's the reason? If the only reason he would need to protect his identity is if Snake would know who he was if he were not wearing the bandages. If that's a bad thing, then he's not Snake's friend.
Yeah.
If it's a good thing, he shouldn't need to protect his identity. And if it's a good thing, then it is a legitimate injury, and that's why he has the bandages on. But there's only one other character that we know of that had, that has injuries to his face, and that's the Burned Man.
Yeah, but
I'm not saying he's the Burned Man. I'm just saying it's an odd coincidence.
Yeah, I think he's just. Yeah, you're right about the identity thing, but remember that in that gameplay part where he says,
Yeah.
"Who are you?" The guy.
Who are you?
He kind of turns away, like he's unsure of whether to tell him who he really is or what, but he's covering his face for a reason.
Right. Yeah, I've got something to say about that too.
Yeah, and right here, obviously, this has to be Psycho Mantis. Psycho Mantis was born in 1970, and if this is obviously during the hospital scene, so
And,
this is 9 years after.
Clearly, if
83, 84.
If you were a ginger, you'd be a little crazy too.
Right, he's a Russian ginger, as we know. Psycho Mantis is Russian, and he looks. I would say he looks around that age. He looks 13, 14 years old, 15, something like that. So, Psycho Mantis is back, and
yeah, it's pretty hard to argue that it's not Psycho Mantis. I mean, he looks to be roughly the right age, and he levitates later on, and he's making the kind of the same pose that Psycho Mantis does in the concept art for Metal Gear Solid 1.
Right.
And he's wearing the gas mask. I mean, yeah, it's a pretty solid assumption to make that it's Psycho Mantis. I don't think there's any real question that it's Psycho Mantis, aside from the people that are morons that think he's somehow someone else.
Yeah, and I it's hard to tell whether Psycho Mantis is here trying to kill Big Boss or trying to help him.
Yeah.
Because as we Psycho Mantis
he points at the
joins
helicopter
Foxhound.
right here in this scene. He points at the helicopter. I mean, why the hell is he doing that? I don't know, but
Yeah.
it doesn't seem like a hostile action.
Yeah. Then could be something like, here's your way out or something. I don't know.
And in the scene where it shows Snake fall down, and he's looking up at the soldier who's pointing a gun at his face, and you see Psycho Mantis levitate right behind him.
Yeah.
I'm assuming he aids him,
Yeah, that's true.
If there's a guy right about to shoot him in the face, well, you just let the guy shoot him in the face if you're there to kill him.
All right, he's pointing at the helicopter, and here's this has to be
Pretty
Ocelot.
obviously Ocelot.
Yeah, the giant flaming whale.
I didn't. I mean, I guess there are flaming whales there.
I'm guessing that there's a boss that has to do with fire, kind of like the Fury in MGS3, but this guy is a little weirder and has horns.
Yeah.
Here's Mother Base getting destroyed. And obviously Ocelot aiding Big Boss, as we know, he like idolizes him.
Right. There's
Giant lightning.
the lightning strike,
That's
which is clearly some sort of a nod to Volgan.
yeah.
When you saw the flaming man earlier in the hallway, he looked like Volgan. And I don't think we said anything about it, but didn't it look like he had horns?
Yeah, well, when we watched that gameplay opening, that character looks up, and you can see that there are two
Right.
horns, just like a demon or the devil,
Right.
protruding
Yeah.
out of his forehead.
Are we to assume that's some coincidence? This character shows up sporting what looks like horns, and then Big Boss is growing a freaking horn out of his head.
Yeah,
Like the things in Kojima's games aren't coincidences. They're all very deliberate.
okay, and right here we can see the British flag. I don't know if that means that the hospital he's somewhere. He could maybe be in South Africa, because at some point, Big
Mhm.
Boss establishes Outer Heaven, and the base is in South Africa.
Yeah.
Fox versus
Been
SOS.
in a coma for quite some time. Yes, I know. You would like to know how long. I'm afraid it's been 9 years.
9 years. So he is in a coma for 9 years.
Yep. And that here, pause it right here. And that is not the I'm guessing that there's no way that that is the same 9 year or the same coma where Big Boss was
Right.
cloned.
Les enfants terribles. The terrible children. That's what the project was called. It started in the 1970s. Their plan was to artificially create the most powerful soldier possible. The person that they chose as the model was the man known then as the greatest living soldier in the world. Big Boss. But Father was wounded in combat and already in a coma when they brought him in.
Because
Right. Well, supposedly this is, I'm assuming, coma number 2, because he went into a coma, I think during the Vietnam War, a couple years before the Peace Walker incident.
right. Yeah, so because Solid and Liquid were born or cloned in 1972. That is when they were born. And Peace Walker takes place in November of 1974. So the destruction of Mother Base was either in 1974 or 1975. So
Right.
that coma cannot be the same one.
Peace Walker takes place in I think November of 74. So
Right.
I mean, it's 74 or 75.
And Diamond Dogs and his freaking horn.
Yep.
So we have
Look at it. You can see two distinct shapes on his forehead. One looks like a horn. Maybe the other one is this piece of shrapnel Kojima is talking about. I don't know. But you can see there's definitely one large horn and then one small object right next to it.
yeah.
Maybe they're both bone. Maybe they're both bone. Maybe one's bone, one's shrapnel. I don't know. But that large one is pretty undeniably a horn. Whether it's bone, shrapnel, or whatever, I think the symbolism of it is that it's a horn.
Yeah, symbolizing that he's going turning into a bad guy or something. I don't know, because we
I don't know.
obviously Big Boss at some point becomes the bad guy of the series. So, and then his new unit, Diamond dogs.
All right.
Okay. And his Galvez-looking arm. And Galvez's
Right.
was...
Galvez's robot arm, his robotic arm was his right arm. So he clearly did not take Galvez's arm because this is his left arm.
Yeah, so his robot hand, I don't know, maybe it was modified or something, but it's red, obviously, so it must be
It's red, yeah.
something to do with Galvez, because that was kind of a thing in Peace Walker. He had
Yeah,
a robotic right hand.
his arm was red and it was robotic. This guy, the big boss's arm is red and robotic, but it's not his right arm. It's his left arm. What does that mean? I don't know, but I can tell you it means that he didn't steal Galvez's arm and use it for his own.
Yeah.
It's not the same arm. I mean, maybe Big Boss will have a special rocket piece attack.
Rocket. Peace.
I'll have to go pick up his hand. It still has a cigar in it. Bonus attack. Rocket piece. With a cigar.
Stupid.
I need that back. Hey. Where's my kart racing game? Mr. Kojima, why don't you want me in this game? Oh, if I lick your balls, you'll let me. Okay. A Japanese ball sack? Alright, I'm ready.
1, 2,
Kart Razor.
3.
Our new home. So they have yet another base. Okay, listen to that. When he started his bike, it made like a whooshing sound. Sniper Wolf.
So here we have V has yeah, actually that's another thing. You're right. Sniper Wolf. Well, I don't remember. I don't know exactly when Big Boss brings Sniper Wolf into the unit, but remember that when she's dying, she mentions Saladin.
Right.
And she's a Kurd, so at some point during some war, he finds her. In this, it says V has come to. It's 2 with 1 O, so it's not 2 as in as well as. So
Right.
So somebody woke up. Somebody.
He has come to. Well, yeah, I'm pretty sure it just means Big Boss. Like I think Kojima puts things in there that he wants you to look into a little too much. When he says V has come to, I mean, it's right after the nurse sees him wake up. She runs off, obviously to tell someone, hey, this guy woke up. So V has come to. My opinion is that it's referring to Big Boss. V, they call him V because another of his nicknames was Vic Boss, Victory Boss.
Yeah.
The nurse probably shouldn't know that, but it's just
Yeah.
silly misdirection.
It could be what's her name? Chico's older sister.
Amanda?
Yeah, Amanda. So that could be Amanda saying V has come to. It kind of sounds like her, but I don't know for sure.
I'd say it's probably a stretch.
Sounds like Kiefer Sutherland.
Who are you? Who am I?
Yeah, he's unsure of himself and looks away.
All right, right there. Pause it.
All right.
Who am I? I've been watching over you for 9 years. Okay, so this guy's been in the hospital with Snake, supposedly, for 9 years. Why does he still have bandages on his face?
Yeah, seriously.
If he's been in the hospital for 9 years, his face should be healed.
This is probably the guy that.
The what I'm saying is the bandaged face doesn't make any sense. After 9 years, you're taking the bandages off your face.
Yeah.
Okay, so the bandages are there to either hide his identity from Big Boss or to hide his identity from the player, because one of us is going to know who he is.
Yeah.
You can't argue that those bandages would be off after 9 years. So he tells Big Boss, "Who am I? I'm the guy who's been watching over you for 9 years." Well, this guy's been with him. He's been with him the entire time, and he has not been in a coma if he has been watching over him. Maybe this guy with the bandages on his face is somebody who was literally watching him while he was in the hospital, maybe waiting for him to wake up. And once he woke up, he put the bandages on so so Big Boss wouldn't know who he was. If you're not in a coma, what are you doing in any hospital for 9 years?
Yeah, and notice those are the exact same bandages that Kojima was wearing that same way.
Right, and Kojima was wearing them, and the other guy that did the interview, they were wearing them to hide their identity.
Right. So that's got to be a point.
Is that meaningful? Maybe not, but I would say there's an equal chance that it is. So my theory is the bandages are to hide his identity, not because he has an injury.
You can call me Ishmael. What the hell is going on? Well, the good news is you're in the land of the living. Bad news? The whole world wants you dead.
The whole world wants you dead.
Soldier, the whole place is going down.
The whole world wanted him dead. Why wouldn't he be dead? He's been there 9 years.
Yeah, those flower petals are on the floor.
Right. He says you need a little pick me up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
Digoxin, did he say?
Something like that. I'm guessing it has a similar purpose as adrenaline. Something to give him energy. Nanomachines! He gave him an early strain of fox dye.
Drug's not working.
Well, Ishmael, why don't you put him in that wheelchair right there, and you can get out faster.
Or on the friggin' stool. You can spin him around if you want.
We're getting out of here. Move it.
If he was in a coma the whole time, why did they put like? Okay, here's this sound.
Right.
There might not be
exact
anything
same sound
significant to
effect.
that. It could be like the Battlefield 3 sounds.
The exact same sound they used in the MGS Ground Zeroes trailer.
Yeah. It must be a part of the theme, or just some, specific
Right.
sound effect.
And then this guy here, Ishmael, is able-bodied, and he's just letting Snake crawl around.
I think that's on purpose, just to be funny.
I know, but it's
Anyway,
so stupid. It's
this
like
must be
their
some-
lives are at stake. Oh, you just crawl around.
You can see his ass crack the entire time.
I'm just gonna lay out a line of farts the entire time you're going behind me, because your head is pretty much in line with my asshole. I mean, when else am I gonna get to do this again in my life? Come on, Big Boss, smell my farts.
And like, here Big Boss is for whatever reason they put on a prosthetic limb there. Why would they do that if he was in a coma, unless it's several days after he's woken up?
Right. He's no doubt been up
We better take the elevator.
at least previously. I mean, he didn't just wake up. Plus, he woke up on the ground. He didn't wake up in his hospital bed.
Yeah, that's true.
And even his head bandage doesn't make sense after 9 years in a coma. Why would he need a bandage after being in a coma for 9 years? The one on his left arm makes some sense, you know. I
Yeah, the
guess
one around his head,
I
I
had a
want to say
buffer.
that's because of that, because of the shrapnel or the horn. And here we have Psycho Mantis being creepy as usual, and then he goes up into the ceiling, and he strikes that pose. So there's
Right. Psycho Mantis has in MGS1. He made a mental projection of himself in front of Solid Snake. So it's
yeah,
clearly not his physical body going through the ceiling.
you'll see the horn under that bandage right here
Mm-hmm.
at around 4 minutes 4 seconds. You can see um, the bandage,
You can clearly see
the
he has
horn
the
under
horn.
there.
The
Yeah,
horn is there. The bandage is over it. So the point I was making is he doesn't need the bandage from whatever injury he sustained to get himself in the hospital. The bandage seems to be either a clever cover up of the horn for the trailer's sake, or he actually needs it because of the horn.
yeah,
But you can see it right there. You can clearly see the horn is there. And as far as we know, between the time he was brought to the hospital and now, as far as we know, nothing has happened. And in that first video where we saw him brought to the hospital, he didn't have a horn, he didn't have any shrapnel, there was nothing there.
yeah, yeah. So this has to be after he was in a coma, I would guess.
Right. But between falling into a coma and waking up, some horn magically appeared on his forehead.
Yep.
I also feel like the masking of the horn is kind of like a clever masking, the same way that when the Phantom Pain trailer first came out, they really kind of tried not to show his face. They showed it a little bit just so you had a good enough they gave you just enough they gave you just enough of an image of his face for people to go to say, okay, yeah, this is MGS5. And in this trailer, they're giving you just enough of an image of his forehead to see that the horn is there.
Okay, and right here, I want to say this is an entirely new character, more than likely a boss that we'll have to fight at some point. But if
He looks
the
a lot
way,
like-
yeah, he's wearing the same trench coat, he has the same stance, and he's a really big guy, just like Vulcan.
The emergency stairs, come on.
And at the end of MGS3, on top of the Shagahad, he got struck by lightning and was engulfed in flame. So I don't know if that's significant. I don't know if they're bringing Vulcan back or what. But
Also, at this point in the game, Psycho Mantis is a child. He could just be screwing with these people. He could be screwing with Big Boss because he can read his mind. He can read his memories.
yeah,
Well, you know, Psycho Mantis is a troubled kid. He's literally crazy. He could simply be screwing with Big Boss. I was gonna mention that, you know, regarding Ishmael's identity, you know, both the who the fuck was that first guy that wore the mask? Okay, I guess I could just say Joaquin. But in regards to, you know, Ishmael wearing the masks, the bandages, I was gonna say that, you know, the only two people that wore them in real life, Joaquin, the supposed Joaquin Mogren and Kojima, were both wearing them to mask their identities. You know,
yeah,
they were wearing them for no other reason but then to mask their identities. So I'm theorizing that the character in MGS5 is wearing the mask to mask his identity.
yeah. That's more than likely it. I was thinking the same. I think you might have mentioned that, but yeah, that's that's the only
Well,
explanation to it.
I mentioned that I thought that there were only two reasons that he would be wearing a mask. One was because he needs it because he's hurt, or two because he's hiding his identity. But I didn't mention that we have those other examples of people wearing the mask for the specific purpose of hiding their identity. That's the only reason they wore them. So
Yeah, because when Snake asks him, he says, "Who are you?" And he stutters for like 10 seconds, and then says,
Who am I?
call me Ishmael.
I thought he said, who are you? And he goes, who am I? I'm the
Yeah,
guy that's watching.
yeah,
I'm the
but
guy
remember he
that's
looks
watching your
over
ass for
and
9 years.
is all unsure of himself.
Yeah.
And then there's that thing with Big Boss's arm. We never see it uh, missing or anything during that attack on Mother Base or afterwards. Although,
Right.
granted, it never really shows it, but um,
Right.
I saw somebody, and I didn't really think of this, but because we don't really know when Solidus came about. He didn't, or at least they said they didn't mention him during the when Solid and Liquid were born, but m- maybe they created him from his arm, just like in Terminator.
I was actually gonna say that to you before you said that. What I was gonna say was, um, and like I don't really necessarily want this to be on the tape because I think there's a ridiculously long chance that this could be. I mean, I think it's a pretty long shot, but I was wondering. I was like, what if this character isn't Big Boss? What if it's Solidus? I mean, Solidus, his accelerative aging happened way before Solid Snake's. I mean, he was a lot older than Solid Snake was in MGS2.
Yeah, somebody else actually mentioned that. They were like, "Oh, this is probably another clone," and Solidus is in that suit the entire time in MGS2, so we never really
Right.
see if he has any missing limbs. But um, yeah,
Well, one it's probably nothing, but I noticed that when the doctor comes in to talk to Snake or Big Boss, he's on a hospital bed. But then when he wakes up and he looks at his arm, he's on the floor. Why is he on the floor?
I have no idea.
I mean, maybe it means absolutely nothing whatsoever, but it's weird. How the fuck did he get from the hospital bed onto the floor? And it almost seems like when the nurse comes in and she runs off, she almost looks concerned. And then you hear V has come too. Like maybe they didn't expect him to come too. Maybe his coma was. I mean, if let's say it's Big Boss, maybe his coma was induced. I mean, why the fuck would he be in a coma for 9 years? Maybe they wanted to keep him in a coma. Maybe they wanted to keep him in a coma and just clone him over and over. Or experiment on him. Maybe that's where the horns come from. Maybe they were just fucking experimenting on him. Maybe they took his arm to use for, culturing his cells in order to make clones.
True. That wouldn't really explain the whole Diamond Dogs thing because it shows him with the eye patch over his right eye, and Solidus
Yeah.
didn't have any missing eyes until after the Harrier boss battle.
Mm-hmm. Right. But have you noticed? Are you recording now? 'Cause you
Yeah,
probably should go ahead and just start
I have been since you called.
it. Okay. Did you notice, or have you noticed that? No, I can't fucking remember what I was gonna say. Oh yeah. The very first trailer, Ground Zeroes. Okay.
Yeah.
They haven't shown anything else for Ground Zeroes, but they showed this big MGSV or 5, as everyone is expecting it to be. They showed this whole big MGS5 thing at GDC, but they didn't talk anything about Ground Zeroes. They didn't show anything new about it. I mean,
Correct.
they're kind of saying that, oh, they're supposedly 2 games, but they're not. They didn't show anything new regarding Ground Zeroes. Like, why in the world didn't they show anything? It's really starting to look to me like Ground Zeroes is the tanker episode of MGS5, and there's going to be a big fucking twist between Ground Zeroes and Phantom Pain.
Oh
Because
yeah.
so far, the only thing they've shown us about Ground Zeroes is an even more limited view of the game than we got in MGS2 when you saw all tanker. That's all you saw was tanker. It looked huge. It looked like the entire game was going to take place on that ship, and it was believable. All they've shown us so far with Zeros is this one, you know, camp. It could be huge, but all we see of it from the trailer, it looks like a pretty small area.
Yeah, well, I mean,
It's kind of
Kojima's
telling to me
already
that
told us that there's going to be more areas. They just haven't shown us. And they said Ground
right.
Zeroes is going to be open world. It's just not going to be as big as the Phantom Pain.
I understand. I mean, I understand he's told us that there's going to be more areas, but you really can't take his word. And I mean, if Ground Zeroes is such a larger game than what they've shown us, why are they taking all this time to show us footage of another game? I mean, it just seems like they're part of the same game, which is why they have all these resources to show us. They're
Right.
calling them two games, but it's all the same game. Does that make sense? You would
Yeah.
think if Ground Zeroes was this huge game, they would have more resources to show us. Because I mean, you looking at the game, most as far as you can tell, the character modeling is done. A lot of the environment modeling is done. Most of the scripting has to be there. Like, what else? They should have more to show us, but they're not showing us anything more. And I think it's because they are showing us more by showing us Phantom Pain. But they're still reluctant to divulge the truth regarding the connection between the two games.
Hmm.
Doesn't it seem strange that in the initial GZ trailer is all we've seen?
Yeah, well, of
If
GZ,
that's supposed
but
to be,
the thing is,
if that's
I
supposed to
don't know
be its
why
own
there's so much
full-fledged
weird,
game,
so much uncertainty about whether it's going to be released together or separately. That's the weird thing. They're going to release an open world Metal Gear,
mm-hmm.
two of them.
Right?
I mean, come on.
No, it just doesn't make any sense, and people are so quick to just pick apart everything Kojima says and everything they show us in the trailer until apparently GDC, and then everyone's like, "Oh, okay, well, it's two different games. I'll believe everything you say now." It's like nothing is true until all of a sudden everything is true, and it doesn't make sense that we question everything regarding the trailers and regarding their announcements, and then all of a sudden it's well, Kojima said it himself, so we must believe it.
Right.
Really? Like, he's the last person you should believe what he says. He's not going to I mean, he's going to mislead people just as much as anyone else. It's his game. I'm sure he's the one behind all the misdirection anyway.
Oh yeah, of
Always has
course.
been.
Yeah, see, that's another thing. They're watching that teaser trailer for the Phantom Pain when we didn't really know what it was at first. It shows those soldiers going into the hospital just killing everyone. Why would they do that if their only target is Big Boss?
Right.
Maybe that's
See,
maybe that's
Big
like Ground
Boss.
Zeroes for where or Ground Zero where they were doing the experiments or something on Big Boss. Because it doesn't
Big
look
Boss
like a
has been
normal hospital. There's like cages and shit you can see.
yeah. Big Boss has supposedly been in a coma for 9 years, and then all of a sudden he comes out of a coma, and then all of a sudden people are coming to try to kill him. How did they know he came out of a coma? Unless the people who are watching him, like the nurse that I said that she looked kind of surprised, unless they reported to someone or their superiors, and they were like, "Well, fuck, we got to kill him." Like, we didn't expect him to come out of a coma at all, and here he is. Like, how would they have known that he was out of a coma? Because Ishmael says, the whole world is trying to kill you.
Yeah. I'm thinking that's some sort of like an asylum almost because if you watch through that trailer again,
Why is Psycho Mantis there?
yeah, because first of all, Psycho Mantis, and
Mm,
secondly because in the hallways where it shows all those patients getting slaughtered, there's there's like cages or not cages but like
mm.
the hallway is kind of barred. Hospitals don't bar their hallways, asylums do.
I actually didn't really notice that. But
Yeah,
I
I was
take
just
your word
watching
for
through
it.
it again. There's it's weird. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it could be nothing, but
Right. Well, if it's a hospital in a militarized zone, then maybe the bars could make more sense. But it
yeah,
also
that's true.
kind of it also kind of has just an awkward feel to it. And it would make sense for Psycho Mantis to be there. That would actually
Psycho
make
ward, yeah.
sense. Yeah, for him to be in a psychiatric ward. Um, so yeah, I'm still convinced it's Big Boss, but God, you never
I
know.
I'm convinced. Not completely convinced, but I'm thinking that this has something to do with Solidus because Solidus wasn't really mentioned in Metal Gear Solid 4. It was all about the twin snakes. Solid and Liquid were created, or Eva gave birth to them. They never explained Solidus. It was just
Mm.
assumed that he was part of the same.
And yeah, and another thing I was thinking that I forgot to say was that you know that could, if it did end up being Solidus, that could actually support the the argument for changing the voice actor because David Hayter has never played Solidus.
Oh, right, yeah, that's true.
I understand I understand that in MGS1, you know, Liquid Snake was a different voice actor, and what else in MGS2, Solidus was a different voice actor, and in MGS4, Big Boss was a different voice actor than David Hayter. But David Hayter was in all those games, and if there was another Snake in the game, David Hayter always played Solid Snake. He always played Solid Snake.
Or yeah,
In all of the games that had more than one clone, David Hayter played Solid Snake. So, you know, I still think there's a chance that he could be in the game.
yeah. I'm thinking that's a little ridiculous that Hater wasn't brought back. I'm convinced, or I don't believe the whole thing surrounding him not being or coming back. Like there's a some online petition that some guy started, and David Hayter on his Twitter, he linked people to it, and I think it has like 11 or 12,000 signatures uh, as of like a couple weeks ago.
How many signatures did the petition to get the original Metal Gear Solid music put in MGS4
Was there
get?
a petition for that?
How many signatures did that? But I'm pretty sure there was. I remember reading about it.